You're welcome to Who Cares Moments with Biola. I am Biola Biola. On Who Cares Moments, we stand as the voice for the voiceless. Who cares? We care.
Do you have regrets? Are you filled with guilt or shame from the decisions and actions that have produced negative results in your life? You need to let go of those regrets, guilt, and shame in order to move forward. Learn from your mistakes, forgive yourself and those that have hurt you. We all make mistakes. We fall down, but we get up. We should all learn from the mistakes of others and not stigmatize or judge them. Unforgiveness, bitterness, anger, and related negative feelings kill silently.
He slapped and kicked me, then dragged me down the stairs. I was in so much pain. I couldn't believe the horror. He later sobered and bought gifts for me, and I thought he wouldn't do it again, and I would just ensure that I don't do anything to make him angry. But I was mistaken, as I was to experience more life-threatening assaults and emotional abuse all the time.
Domestic violence or abuse come in different forms, and I believe we now hear of these stories because people are beginning to speak out rather than die in silence. According to Wikipedia, domestic violence or domestic abuse is violence or abuse in a domestic setting, such as marriage or cohabitation. It can be physical or psychological and can affect anyone, regardless of the age, gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, education, profession, or socio-economic status. Emotional, sexual, economic, or spiritual abuse are usually not easily detected because they don't leave marks. And according to statistics, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men will be abused in their lifetime, and thousands of these abuse go unreported. Domestic violence during this COVID-19, according to reports, has been on the rise. We look into the story of a domestic violence survivor who will hide our identity because of stigmatization in our society.
Before we got married, there were warning signs that he had anger issues, but I gave excuses for him, that it was probably because he was frustrated by the people owing him. I never expected the physical assault, because while growing up, I never heard my dad raise his voice at my mother, and he definitely never beat her. But my ex-husband would get angry at any little thing, and even when things went wrong with his business, he would transfer the aggression to me and pounce on me. He drags me down the stairs, hits me, he punches me, kicks me. I remember a particular incident where he used his leg to trip me, and I fell flat on the marble floor, and I could not move for the whole day. I was in severe pains, and I had to be hospitalized for a whole month because my nerves were affected. Whenever any male colleague called me, he would out of jealousy react violently, and he regularly checked my phone. And on one occasion, after I received a phone call, he got angry and he hit me on the head very hard with an object that I became dizzy. He walked out of the house and left me there. For more than a decade, I kept it from my family and friends, as I felt that marriage issues were to be solved within by both parties. And yet, it kept me from relating with my family and with my friends.
I'm talking to you. You're talking back. Are you dead? I'm tired of this. I'll see just what I go. Rubbish.
told myself that I would endure till the children were old enough. But the bitterness I had for him increased when I heard stories of women killed by their husbands from domestic violence, and those that killed their husbands after years of being physically and emotionally abused. I realized that I was getting close to such happening to me because the hatred I had for him and the feeling of being trapped in the marriage was making me have thoughts of killing him. My father took me out of the house when my sister, who had seen so many injuries, reported to him. After 14 years of physical and emotional abuse, I moved out, faced my career squarely, improved on myself professionally. I also worked out my relationship with God. With the help of God, I have forgiven him, and I hold no bitterness towards him, in spite of everything he has done, including keeping me from having access to my children. I hold no bitterness.
For many victims of domestic violence who stay in abusive relationships do so to avoid stigmatization, and for some others, economic security. These victims feel they have invested so much into the relationship to start all over again. They keep hoping endlessly for a change. A women rights advocate, Love Ibem, speaks on domestic violence, its effect on society, and the way forward.
A child that experiences or whose father or mother or either of the party violates the other carries that torture, that psychological torture, even in adulthood. Because you see, sometimes a woman goes to report in the police station. They'll say, is he not your husband? Why are you bringing him to the why are you washing your dating linen in the public? But there should be specific branches in the gender-based branches of aspects or umbrella in all of these institutions that will handle this aspect of crime. Domestic violence is a crime, and if it's a crime, should it be tolerated? The answer is a big no. Even in courts, I think our court should have a special court for such crimes. So, if you are a victim, don't wait till you find yourself 6 feet under the ground. Speak out. If you can't take it, you move on. You move on with your life. It's better you are alive than being in a marriage and then they just give you two weeks. The man will check the next babe or the next person. So we frown at it in its entirety, and we pray that in no distance time, domestic violence will be alien in our community, in our country, in our society.
Moving on is a process and not an event. Victims should seek professional help, have a strong support system, forgive the person, and most importantly, forgive yourself.
Though I've forgiven him, have moved on, but I'm not at peace because I don't have access to my children. I just want to see my children.
Do you know someone struggling to come out of an abusive relationship? Do you feel worthless and ashamed of your abusive relationship? Do you want to start the process of recovery and want a better life for you and your children? Are you threatened? Please contact us via our social media platforms. You don't have to stay stuck. Please reach out.
A problem shared is a problem half solved. So don't keep it to yourself. And also, be your brother's keeper, sending your comments and your advice. Let us change our world one person at a time. Thank you for being part of this edition. I am Biola Biola. Please click on the like and subscribe button. Who cares? We care.